Yo, what up? It's DJ Sus One, the feature presentation. Portland's in the building right now. Amine, what's good, boy?
How you doing, man? What up?
I'm good, man. Well, first of all, where are you on planet Earth right now during this quarantine?
Oh
I saw,
man, I'm in LA right now, where it's definitely not that safe compared to everywhere else.
explain, because Atlanta's
Uh,
partying right now. I saw a video of people in Atlanta partying, like girls posting like all up on the dudes and shit,
yeah, at
like
the club
twerking.
and
I was like,
yeah, I mean,
no
it's
mask
wild.
city.
It's
So what's
wild,
going?
man. I couldn't tell you. It's definitely I'm definitely taking the quarantine thing pretty seriously. When we shoot videos and do all this thing during quarantine, we kind of make sure we got like a small crew and we do it efficiently and we shoot videos outside and all this stuff. But it's crazy. It's crazy out here,
What's
man.
it like in LA right now while you're out there?
It's I mean, it's not crazy. Like people walk around and have masks on, but California is like one of the top states right now, so it's pretty
Crazy.
wild. Yeah.
So stay your ass in there. How do you feel about, we're going to talk about your project, which is a movie, by the way, but how do you feel about this new world of performing? I heard, your assistant said that you had a YouTube live concert yesterday. You know
I
what I'm
did.
saying?
Hmm.
Tell me how that experience is not, not being able to perform this festival type music in front of festival people, like feeling their energy live. Like, how does it feel, this whole new world of performing?
I mean, it sucks. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't want to perform for people. You know what I mean? Because touring is kind of like, well, what's the most exciting thing about making an album? You make an album and then you go on tour and you get to see the people really react to the music that you spent making. So for me, it isn't fun. But yesterday we did a YouTube live that was honestly really, really fun. It was great because I treated it more like an MTV Unplugged, where I was basically like explaining how the songs got made and what was the process between them, as like I had a whole band and background singers. So we treated it like it was Coachella, but it was live, you know.
All right, cool. That's dope. So look, I saw a couple of your videos. I don't know if you were inspired by Missy, Busta Rhymes, or I don't know who you were inspired by. I know you direct your videos. You have very creative videos. You have very
Thank you.
yeah, no, they're very creative, bro. So where does your inspiration come for filming and directing before we even talk about, the bars and the music?
Yeah, man. I mean, again, like the first couple people you just said, Missy, Busta, Ye, Andre, just people who, when I saw those videos on my TV screen as a little kid, I had them like stapled in my brain and I never forgot them. So for me, I knew when I became an artist that I wanted to make sure the videos was A1 always and that no one could take that away from me.
Yeah, no disrespect to anybody, but that wasn't like the Bobby Shmurda hot nigga video, like where you just film a bunch of niggas bouncing around and shit.
Yeah, no, I love
you really
that
take your
video.
time.
That's like
I
my
love that
favorite.
video too, but
yeah, but it's like there's a time and a place for it. You know what I mean? There's certain songs that just need that kind of energy for a video, and then there's my music. I feel like it's cinematic, so I love to make the music videos kind of match that and build a world around it.
yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you, bro. So I listened to your whole project today. It's fire. It's actually going to make me, and please don't judge me, don't hate me for this, but it's actually going to make me, because I didn't listen to the whole first project. Of course I was playing the hit, but now I want to go listen to the whole first project. You're one of the young talents out here that, first of all, got super bars. I don't know who the hell's picking your beats, but I don't know if you're working with God, Christ. All right. Well, the beats are phenomenal. Like the beat for Compensating is amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I like the song Riri. I want to know who broke your heart. We're going to talk about that. Who broke your heart? Where did the inspiration for Riri come?
Man, it was definitely just, the song wasn't really about one girl, it was about multiple girls in high school or some shit like that who kind of.
So which girls broke your heart in the past?
A couple of them, man. I don't want to say no names because they don't deserve that shine. But
heard you.
They're girls who know who they are, and it kind of it was a good song because I wasn't really just talking shit. It was more so just like reminiscing on it. The song is just kind of like nostalgic. So yeah, it was just a nostalgic song over like a hard beat that my boy Pascal made.
All right, cool. I like that song. I don't know if that's corny to me. Like, I like songs like that. Like Drake, How About Now is one of my favorite records. That record is one of my favorite records. Now,
real,
Shimmy.
though.
Shimmy's another record I like, and you're paying homage to old DB.
Yes, sir.
You're 26 years old, correct?
Yeah.
So where did the inspiration, not to throw your age out there, but where did the inspiration for ODB come out? I like that. I like when people pay homage to the people that came before them like that.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know all ODB tracks from start to finish, you know what I mean? But I also know what ODB meant to hip hop and what he meant to the upbringing of creativeness, I guess. You know what I mean? He bring kind of like a whole new lane in the hip hop that I really hadn't seen. So for me, when I heard that sample in the studio, Boy Wonder played it for me, I was like, oh my God, because I had the hook and I was like, oh, this is such a cool way to really show love without being corny, you know what I mean? Without it trying to take away from the actual song. So, because it was a whole different spin on it. So that's why I wanted to do it, because paying homage to like classic beats or classic samples is just really hard to do in this day and age, especially when everybody's making music every week.
Do you feel like, because I was listening to your bars, like you're still kind of, you know, you've been in the game a few years now. This is your sophomore album. But do you feel like you're underrated? Like, I feel like your bars is holding it up there with like the Coles and the Drakes and the Kendricks and the and Big Sean, who I think is underrated too. They don't put him up in that up there. Do you feel like you're underrated at all?
I mean, yeah, especially right now for me, just because I'm more so in the young. All those guys you mentioned are much older than me. You know what I mean? So for me, it's gonna take some time to get up there. Hopefully, this album really like shows people what I could actually do, and I think it will. But you know, it'll take some time. I'm young, so it's all good. But I definitely do feel underrated for sure.
Yeah, you seem like on this album, you seem like you had something to prove in this motherfucker. So I was just trying to see what's going on.
I did, man. I had a lot to prove. That's funny you say that, because that's honestly the words I was throwing around the studio for the past 2 years when we were making it. I was just like, I have a lot to prove, and I just want to show. Like my boys is like, oh, you should sing on this. You should sing on that. I was like, nah, like I gotta really show I could rap.
Well, you definitely proved on this one. I'm looking forward to hearing more music. So where's the Kobe tattoo?
Number 8.
Cool.
You thought I was lying.
Just wanted to make sure that, you know, it was honest music going on.
My man said, where's the Kobe tattoo?
So talk to me about that interlude too, man. You said you felt like you lost some of your innocence and some of your childhood when Kobe passed away, which I'm sure a lot of people felt. But you seem like one of the biggest Kobe fans, like the way I heard you speak on it. So talk about that part of the project too.
Yeah, so the person who's doing all the skits on the album, all the speaking that you hear, his name is Jack Knight. He's this black comedian from Seattle. He's super funny. But we were talking for hours, and when he said that, it kind of hit me hard, because I thought that was the best way of explaining what it felt like, especially for young niggas like me. Like when we kind of found out Kobe died, that was like, I never knew a life without Kobe. You know what I mean? Like I grew up I was buying his Adidas shoes, you know, since day one before he was on Nike. And so for me, it was like seeing him gone was like seeing something I was so used to seeing as a child. It was like seeing Superman die, you know what I mean? So for us, it was just heartbreaking, man. Like we definitely knew that we had to pay some sort of homage to him on the album.
Yeah. So also moving forward, I want to know what it was like, because this is my first time talking to you. I'm sure you've talked about it before, but what was it like growing up in Portland, and who did you listen to, you know, coming up to have the bars that you do? I saw in an interview that you said Portland has, you know, the part has very small amount of black people where you grew up. Is that true?
Yeah, for sure.
So how was it like growing up in Portland, growing up in hip hop? Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, just to be specific, the neighborhood I grew up in was Northeast Portland, so it was It was mainly black people only in that neighborhood, but
it was very small part.
Yeah, very small part. Like our percentage in the city, once you step outside my 8 block, 7, 10 block radius, once you step outside of that, it's definitely just white everywhere. You know what I mean? So for me as a kid growing up, I never felt welcomed. I never felt like I belonged there, because I loved my community, because that was like family, like that's home for me. You know what I mean? But growing up there as a black person really ain't fun, because there's definitely so many racist incidents that made me who I am today, you know. I actually like being from Portland, Oregon, because it gave me a whole new perspective on life.
How did people from your hometown feel when this whole craziness that happened with like George Floyd and Breonna Taylor throughout this whole pandemic happened. You know, knowing that it's such a small community of Black people, and then as soon as you pass that outside, it's a different, you know, it's different races. How was the response out there? Obviously, everybody hated it, but how did you know, was the response out there with your peers and your family when all that happened?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely heartbreaking. I mean, like, the thing about it is, man, Black lives have been dying for years. Like, this, to me, rights, anybody, like, this is something that's been going on. So I guess for Black people, it isn't surprising. We're more so just heartbroken that we have to do this again. You know what I mean? Like, again and again and again. So for me and my peers in Portland, it sucked, man, because we live in a state or a city that kind of does the protesting and is very liberal, but it isn't really welcoming to Black people. You know what I mean? It's like the liberal people who are protesting for the Black Lives Matter movement in Portland, Oregon, who are white, are the same people kicking out Black families out of these neighborhoods and gentrifying our neighborhoods. So
crazy.
It's a bit hypocritical, you know?
Yeah. We've seen a lot of that all over the place too, man.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know what to say about that. That's a whole nother conversation. But I want to focus on the music, but that's a whole nother conversation. We can have that another day because, you know, I always like to ask people, do you think we're going to see change, tremendous change in, you know, within the next few years, in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you think in our lifetime we'll see more to 80% unity? All right. You're saying no.
Man, not. I don't think in our lifetime we're going to see some change because it's happened too much. You know what I mean? Like it's happened way too much. If this was like an incident that happened once every 10 years or something, maybe, but this shit happens more than 10 times a year. So yeah, I just don't think it'll change that. Hopefully we can do a lot to make it change though for the future, for our future kids and stuff.
I hope so too. So talk to me, why is the album called Limbo?
Just for me, I think personally for me on my first album, second album, I think a lot of people, saw me as like a very bright, happy kid who makes like pop rap or something like that. But for me personally in my life, I knew with this album I wanted to do a step up and make something a bit more mature. But I realized I was kind of going through like a quarter life crisis. You know what I'm saying? Like
I've never heard a quarter life crisis. A quarter life crisis?
A quarter life crisis where you're.
It's
where
like
you're
the best time. Of your life.
Nah, it's like the best time, but it's also like you're going from a young man to an adult. You know, like I'm 26, so I'm thinking about 30. You know, I know that's not that close, but I'm thinking about 30, and I'm just that transition from a young man to an adult. You start to value things differently. You know, family, friends, relationships that really matter versus all the bullshit that comes with being a young man. You know, like going out and doing all that crazy stuff. But for me, I felt like I was really caught between who I really wanted to be. You know what I mean? And so for me, when making this album, I thought Limbo was a perfect title because it really means like stuck between two places. Like I'm currently like mentally like in limbo. So I wanted a title that was quick and got to the point and, you know, really let fans know that like not to put me on a pedestal. You know, they be looking at rappers and celebrities trying to get the advice and all the like knowledge from us, like we're Martin Luther King or some shit. But like, you know, I just wanted to let people know, like, I'm just figuring it out too. You know, I'm an adult. Like, I'm learning just like you are.
I love that you admit that. I love that you're honest. I love that you speak on things like that, man, because a lot of the music out in hip hop right now, not all of it, obviously, but a lot of music out in hip hop from people your age is a lot about just partying and twerking and drinking and money. And, you know, they don't really talk about things like that. So,
yeah, I mean, twerking, drinking, and money is good too. You know, I mean,
yeah,
I
know that it's needed, but we need that other element.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we need all spectrums though of rap. You know, what I mean, I think that's what made the golden era of hip hop so cool because there were so many different characters in it. It's like a video game. You know, like if you want some turned up shit, you go to this person. If you want some introspective shit, you go to this person. Da da da.
Yo, another one of my favorite records because y'all was going bars, pressure in my palms. Now, look, I only heard the record a few times, so I'm not sure who said this bar, but this shit was hard. There was one bar that was "This is Britney Spears" when she was bald. That was you, right? Yo,
this is Britney Spears when she was bald, nigga. Yeah.
All right. I like when you push the bars like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that was definitely a harder verse to write. I took my time on that.
And who said there ain't no money in having hate in your heart?
Jack Knight, the comedian who's doing the skits on the album. I love that line because it was very real. You know what I mean?
All right, cool. Well, look, man, I want to hear some more motherfucking music. This album, anybody who's just tuning in right now, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with him. He's had hit records. He's had millions of views for the past 2 years. This project, this body of work is phenomenal. This is one of the bodies of work that you turn up onto ignorant, stupid, speaker blowing, replace your speakers in your car immediately, volume levels. And I think you guys should go stream it immediately, Limbo.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, man.
Nah, love, bro. And let me tell you something. I'm one of them DJs. I'll tell niggas. I'll be telling artists, yo.
I know, I can tell because you was like, where's the Kobe tat?